I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Kelly, and we are back with another video. If you guys are new to the channel and you enjoy true crime stories, news, politics, and so much more, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, guys. I really would appreciate it. And if you are a returning listener, subscriber, well, thank you guys, as always, for being a friend. I really appreciate y'all, and please like the video if you like it. Give me a comment, whatever you can do. It really does help me out, and it's a free way to do so. And I thank everyone in advance for watching this video.
You know the thing.
So let's get right into it. So we're going to get into it, guys, but let's check in on the UK and see what the hell is going on over there. Now, what we're seeing coming out of the UK is an absolute boot on the neck of their citizens and just complete and utter tyranny and disgusting lawfare that is happening because of their outrage and their coming together to protest what is happening to them in their country. Well, the government doesn't like that very much, and they are really showing you their ass, okay? This was a judge who was sentencing a citizen for a Facebook post. It's only been days, you know, not even weeks since all of this has popped off, and since like the people decided to raise up and actually, you know, come together and make a show of force against, you know, an issue that they've been screaming about for years. And what we're seeing now is the complete and utter lack of due process for these citizens in their own country, and the disdain that is oozing out of this judge here, who, for some reason, the UK is such an unserious, ridiculous place that they lock up their own citizens and treat them like dirt, okay? And while wearing this ridiculous wig, okay, you look retarded, okay? You look like a dumb fuck, but that's besides the point. Because the real ass backwardsness of this whole clip is that they're completely trampling all over the due process rights of their very own citizens, because they're throwing these people in jail within weeks or days of them being arrested after these riots, which normally the process takes a little bit longer than that, because there has to be investigations, there needs to be, you know, actual time for these people to obtain legal counsel and to, you know, for the police to investigate and to actually prove their case. But what we're seeing is this like push to get these people through the legal system, get them sentenced and get them locked away, to quelch and to like squash down on the people who are taking a stand and actually going against the grain of what the government wants them to do.
You have been committed for sentence, having pleaded guilty to an offence of publishing written material which is threatening, abusive, or insulting, intending thereby to stir up racial hatred. The context of your offending is that it arises out of the civil unrest and disorder in many parts of the United Kingdom. On the night of the 2nd and 3rd of August, the Britannia Hotel in Leeds was attacked by people who threw missiles.
Missiles?
Which damaged windows.
Missiles. I need to know what that means in Brit
Police
talk.
were called, and on the 3rd of August, the hotel was locked down for the protection of those who were living there. At the time, there were 210 occupants, many of whom were foreign refugees and asylum seekers.
Well, maybe they shouldn't be there.
Similar attacks to the hotel were launched on the 4th of August. The police attended on each occasion, and units were deployed to safeguard the hotel.
And
This guy gives off
And this has fuck all to do with this defendant, might add. This person that we're seeing this clip from, these court proceedings, are from he's in this courtroom because of a post that he made on Facebook. So him reading off all of this nonsense, this British talk, it means nothing.
In between the two attacks, you
yes.
took to social media.
And what did you say, sir?
In order to encourage others towards participation.
In a protest. In the attacks, because you've called them an attack. Yes.
As is recognised on your behalf, this offence is so serious.
As recognised on your behalf.
Immediate custodial sentence is unavoidable. Would you stand, please?
This is straight out of A Nightmare.
The sentence that I pass has been reduced by 1/3 to reflect your guilty plea. The sentence is one of 20 months.
Look at those eyes. Look at those eyes right there. Hold on.
Serve up to 1/2 of your sentence in custody.
Look at those eyes right there.
It's literally terrifying.
The sentence is one of 20.
There.
Ooh.
That is raging psycho. I was trying to read this guy's eyes. Is he an unwilling player in all of this? Is someone pulling the strings and saying, Judge, this is the order you have to bring down? Maybe. That is, in my view,
the only unwilling player in this whole event is that wig, okay? That wig wants to be left alone, okay? It wants to be left in the 1700s where they found it.
Pure psychopathic evil in his eyes. Am I allowed saying that in England?
20 months imprisonment. You will serve up to 1/2 of your sentence in custody.
Are you serious?
Before you are released on license. If you fail to abide by the conditions of your license, you can be returned to prison to serve some or all of the remainder of the custodial term. The victim surcharge will apply, and I will make a collection order.
It's literally the stuff of nightmares. So you watch that and you say, this would be out of a horror movie where a guy is sentenced to 20 months for having gone online and said, let's just even say he said, go to the protest or go to this location where people are protesting. It's unfathomable. This didn't occur a year ago and they had full exploration, disclosure of evidence. Maybe he had time to find his own lawyers. I don't know what lawyers this guy found. This happened on August 7th, I think. What's it? It's the 10th today. This happened at the latest August 7th and maybe last Saturday, a week ago. Within a week, charged, compelled to plead guilty. I mean, look, Otto Warmbier in North Korea was begging for forgiveness. Voluntary admission of guilt. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. And not the sentence. Maybe the sentence after we have seen the evidence, after he's had an opportunity to get counsel.
Even then, no.
Due process cannot happen within 5 days. Period.
And I'm sorry, I don't ever think it's appropriate to jail somebody for 20 hours, 20 minutes for a fucking Facebook post. Okay? For a Facebook post. Any post on any social, I don't care. You can go out onto the streets and scream your hatred, spew whatever it is your ideology is, spew whatever bad ideas you might have, and you shouldn't spend 20 minutes in jail for that unless you're quite literally advocating for harm against other people. And I mean in no uncertain terms. But this is just beyond the pale.
What we are witnessing is an absolute violation of due process. We are witnessing England turning into North Korea in real time and the scowling stare of a psychopathic judge as he sentences a man to 20 months in jail for online posts. Tommy Robinson is going to shed some light on it for us. Okay, share the link around, people. Tommy's up in the backdrop here, and we're going to just say they want to prosecute us over here. Come extradite us, that's phallus, with your own labor. Those magistrates' hair is worse than yours.
Damn.
Mine's real, at least, people.
Ate him.
All right, I'm bringing Tommy, and I see him laughing here. Tommy, sir, how goes the battle?
How goes the battle? This is the government sending a clear message to everyone to shut up, stay in your lane. We will replace you. We will flood your nation. We will take away the security and the safety of your daughters. And if you dare to speak about it, we'll put you in prison. That's just one example. Do you know the sad thing about this is a show trial. In America and in Canada, you may have live and televised viewings like this of judges. We've never had this. We don't have this. Yeah. So when trials are going on of rapists or killers, we don't see the judges like this. You don't see it. Cameras, in fact, aren't allowed into our courtrooms. So this is all done, all orchestrated to send them to jail very quick, very fast, to quell any uprising of the British public, which is what you were witnessing, is an uprising of the British public who have been ignored, forgotten, and neglected, and having their communities destroyed and their families targeted by hostile men that have been invited in. When he says the words missiles, what he means is a stone. So someone threw a stone at the hotel. That's what he means. Not great, whoever threw the stone, but the man's got 20 months in jail with a third off, so that means he was getting, 3 years? So you're saying he was getting 3 years in prison? Well, we've got case after case, and I'll give you an example. 3 women went to court and they pleaded not guilty to terrorism because they glorified and supported Hamas by celebrating the paraglider attacks on October 7th. So they went to court and they pleaded not guilty. Now, when you plead guilty, you get a third off. If you plead not guilty and you get found guilty, you're meant to get slammed. They pleaded not guilty. They went to court. They got found guilty. The judge gave them a conditional discharge, which means not even a fine. A Muslim judge, of course, let them go home. A man went to bingo with his wife. They walking through town. This demonstration was going on. He gestured aggressively at the police. He got 26 months in jail. There's no allegation of him committing any crime or violence. He gestured aggressively at the police. They set their dog on him. So on the camera footage, he gets bit by a police dog.
When you say they're televising this and it's not normal under UK law, or it hasn't been precedent, Northam's police, I mean, I see these one after the other. 26-year-old man sentenced to 2 years and 2 months in prison after he pleaded guilty to publishing written material to stir up racial hatred. That happened, if I took the screen grab, on August 7th. None of it can make any sense.
And you know that the absolute state of the media and the so-called journalists is in shambles and just completely against the people and what the people want, what the people are crying out for, when you have people like Piers Morgan, who claims to be uncensored because, you know, he got, I think it was like over, I believe it was COVID related, why he got fired from his job, and then, you know, went on this whole thing about how he was going to be, you know, this voice of, you know, being able to be free speech about everything, but he's so not that person. He's actually quite the opposite of that person. And he had Andrew Tate on his show talking about these riots, and this is the type of thing that really just irks my absolute nerves, and it shows you who these people are and why they can't be trusted, because he just like everyone else in the media wants to control and wants to compel your speech, and they want to bully you and use bully tactics to do those things. And so this was very telling, because it's not often that I agree with Andrew Tate. I don't dislike him. I don't like him. I'm kind of indifferent about Andrew Tate. There's a lot of things that he does that I think are really good. He ate Piers Morgan's lunch during this interview, and it really is just a very good example of how the media is losing the plot on all of these things, and how they've lost the trust of the people in all of their shenanigans and all of their antics in order to try to control the narrative.
Muslims, as you know, have been ranting about you for the last few days and utterly betraying them because you've decided to associate yourself with Tommy Robinson, who is a far-right thug, who has been spewing utter horrible Islamophobic, anti-Muslim rhetoric all week. And yet you have not distanced yourself from him. So the Muslim community in the UK now view you as part of the enemy too. You know that.
Talked to them?
How do you feel about that?
Is that what they said, Piers?
Well, I pray for my brothers, and I think the information I've seen and the replies I've seen have not been hateful from the Islamic.
As if Piers has, an ear to the ground with the Muslim community, as if he has the insider knowledge. He knows the inner workings of what they're talking about, what's making the Muslim community of the UK tick. Okay? Save it.
Community. Saying to Tommy Robinson that I will debate him on issues, I don't think is failing to distance myself. I debate you all the time, Pierce, and we disagree on basically everything. I'm happy to argue with Tommy because we disagree on so many different points of view, and I think it's very important that we have conversation. The reason these riots are happening in the first place is because everybody's afraid to talk. I'm prepared to sit down with somebody I don't like and don't agree with.
That's complete nonsense.
To talk to Tommy.
That's nonsense.
What?
The reason the riots are happening is people like you and Tommy Robinson have been spewing utter disinformation,
Oh, that's
which
why?
has led people to believe
Oh
that the
my
person
God.
that perpetrated these despicable crimes was an illegal Muslim migrant.
So dense, so completely dense and unaware and just totally disingenuous. I mean, just idiocracy. You think that these riots happened because of this one event of this guy, this Rwandan immigrant parent, native born British person stabbing 3 little girls? No, this didn't happen overnight. This wasn't just all of a sudden, because people spread misinformation about the stabber of these 3 little girls. Completely ignorant to the facts, ignorant to the culture and the atmosphere of what it is that's going on.
Who was on the
I never said
MI6
Muslim.
terror
And
watch list.
firstly,
Right. I'm saying you and Tommy
Here's
Robinson,
let's be careful.
between you, okay. I'm saying
No,
between you,
but
you
where's
put
the
out
logic
there
failure?
a
There's a
completely
logic
false
failure of-
impression.
There's a logic failure of lumping me in with somebody who I don't agree with and saying, "Oh, you and
So
him
do you
said
denounce
X." I
Tommy
didn't say those
Robinson?
things.
Do you
Tommy
denounce
Robinson and I
Tommy
disagree on a
Robinson?
whole bunch of issues, and I think he's
denounce him?
completely incorrect on his view of Islam.
Ridiculous.
We're not
Is
playing
he-
this
do you
game of
denounce
constant
him
denouncing.
do you denounce him for inciting the rioting?
What?
I denounce him for everything bad he said about Islam. He's absolutely
Anybody that will sit up in your face and ask you to denounce somebody based on whatever idea of that person that they have and their small mind is a retard and an absolute fool. And you should not talk to that person, because to try to compel this man's speech, do you denounce Tommy Robinson? Do you denounce... No, I don't denounce jack shit, okay? I won't even denounce Hitler. I don't care. I don't denounce anybody but the devil, okay? That's who I denounce, okay? It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. You can't agree with somebody who, a person that you're talking to might find to be a despicable human being, and you might even find them to be despicable on some areas, but you just agree with them on one certain point. So what? Then you have to denounce them because this person says you do? That is one of the most disgusting, authoritarian, and Orwellian tactics that people use, especially in media. You see this all the time. People trying to get people to denounce people on live television because of something that they said that they might agree with, or they came together on a certain topic. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We don't need to denounce anybody, okay? But that is so far beyond what the scope of what it is we're supposed to be doing as human beings, existing in a society together. I cannot stand shit like that.
You've answered the question. Let me now answer this one simply. When you retweeted the white supremacist Nick Fuentes, who you call Nick, on the subject of the riots, and he said it's
Well, that's
clear
his name.
that not only are these protests being amplified and directed by
Who
Zionist
you call
parts on
Nick?
social media,
His
do you
name?
agree with what he said? Is that why you retweeted it?
I agree with the latter point about how everybody's going to lose their freedoms.
What about the first point I've just read out? Do you agree with that?
God.
Well, I don't have to agree with every single point of a tweet. I can agree with the end result
retweeted
of a
it.
tweet. I don't know who's
So you
directing.
don't agree with
I
him?
don't know
then?
who's directing.
So just to be clear,
Well, I
so
don't know
you
who's
don't
I don't know
think
who's
that
directing
Zionist
these
plans
riots.
on social
I just know
media
the end result.
amplified the riots.
I don't know who's directing these riots. I know the end result. I know why the riots happened in my own personal view because of underrepresentation. I think Keir Starmer's
But
failed.
do
I
you
the
think
police
it
have
was
failed.
Zionist
I think our
plans?
political class has sold.
So instead of being a real journalist and trying to get Andrew Tate on here to discuss what is the cause, what is the actual root cause of the riots, he wants to get on here and bring up people who he's agreed with and that Piers finds to be, deplorable individuals, and read off retweets that Andrew Tate has done, instead of focusing on the actual problems of the British citizens, why it is they're so angry, why it is they're so, up in arms about the situation and the state of their immigration. That's not what Piers Morgan has. Zero journalistic curiosity about that topic. He wants to get up on here and have Andrew Tate, compel his words and stick his hand up Andrew Tate's ass so he can, puppet his mouth to say, I denounce Tommy Robinson, I denounce Nick Fuentes. So Piers Morgan can feel good about himself and go to bed tonight. It's ridiculous.
We will throw the full force of the law at people. And whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes from further afield online, we will come after you.
Oh my God, I wish you would come after me.
Because we have seen some high-profile figures whipping up the hatred. You talked about it in there with the officers, in fact, about this being added to by online commentary. I mean, I'm even thinking of the likes of Elon Musk getting involved.
They want Elon Musk so bad.
When it comes to dealing with people who are whipping up this kind of behaviour from behind a keyboard, maybe in a different country.
Being a keyboard warrior does not make you safe from the law.
I wish you'd
you
come
can
get
be
me.
guilty of offences of incitement, of stirring up racial hatred. There are numerous terrorist offences regarding the sort of publishing of material.
Oh wow.
All of those offences are in play if people are provoking hatred and violence on the streets, and we will come after those individuals just as we will physically confront on the streets the thugs and the obs who are causing the problems for communities.
Well, last time I checked, me typing up, a tweet on my laptop here and then, pressing send had the ability to do jack shit. Had the ability to make anyone do absolutely anything. People, since when do people not have agency anymore? What happened to my body, my choice? Okay, you people are so sick in the head that you're lost. These people are absolutely running circles around themselves. Now they want to deport or extradite Elon Musk and people from other countries who are cheering on the rioters or who are, what they say stoking racial hatred, and it's so vague on purpose. It is designed to be as vague as they want it to be because they have a broad scope of what it is they can do and how they can enforce the law against people for writing something on their own personal Facebook pages. This is the state of the UK.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred.
Intended to or likely. What is that word salad that you just spit out of your stupid mouth? I mean, look at your face, sir. Look at your face and your mouth. You look like you're already dead, okay? What is happening with your face? And what do you mean, likely or intended to? So they're saying that people's words on a social media platform that might only have 10 followers is capable of forcing people like zombies to go out of their homes and to riot in the streets. I didn't realize that, words had that much power. The last I heard, I'm rubber and you're glue, and whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. And sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's the last that's what I thought the standard was. Was I mistaken? Have I been? Where have I been? I guess is the real question.
Read that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media.
Oh my God.
Their job is to look for this material.
Oh, wow.
And then follow up with identification arrests and so forth.
Oh my God.
So it's a really, really serious. People might
So serious.
think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
Oh. Sounded like a threat. Those sounded like some words that I'm offended by and are likely to cause me harm. So, I don't know. What do we do about that? What do we do about that?
It's on the 17th of the 10th.
No!
And to protect a vulnerable person, by means of building this impose that you do not attend any events involved with Palestine, okay? The reasons why we did this is on the 17th of the 10th of 2023, on Bethel Green Road at 10:04, you were witness to saying, obviously, people, while they're over here, etc., we let them into our country, etc.
So, big deal.
Yes, okay.
So, big deal.
Say
that. Take him. Disgusting. He's a disgusting. Absolute. I'm a stage 4 cancer patient and I need to here. Make a scene of shoes. His shoes make the scene you're arresting him because he said something in the street about Hamas, a terrorist organisation.
You haven't been round the block. You don't know what you're talking about. John, have a custody. Did you hear that?
What?
Yeah, all those Palestinian flags in Bethnal Green Road. And disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Why didn't you stop them, John?
Yeah, I know. This is your freedom.
Go sit down.
Look at the cops! Look at all the cops.
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing. Because he mentioned Palestine. Look at this. Look at this. Getting arrested because he mentioned Hamas on Facebook.
Yeah, we're all against terrorist organisations.
Yeah.
Sorry, unfortunately.
We don't like terrorists.
We don't want terrorists in the country.
You can't have an opinion in this country.
You know, there are Palestinian flags flying down refugee road, and these guys are armed. Has he got medication? Has he got any medication?
Yeah.
Yes, they should have some medication.
Yeah.
Take it from him
Yeah.
if he needs it.
I'd rather you not take him.
Well, that's not good. So,
But I'm going to report down there.
These people are absolute shite. I'm sorry, the accent just gets in me. But this is what's going on. This is actually what the hell is going on. And this is what we have to look forward to if we don't get our shit together, okay? And this is another thing that we have to look forward to. This is out of Amsterdam, you know, but still relevant. Let's see what's going on over in the city of Amsterdam.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
No.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
What the fuck?
يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام.
Immediately no. Like instantly, I was like, yeah, no. I'm telling you right now, I seen what I needed to see.
I mean, this one for me. What is this outfit? What did you really have the audacity to wear your 12-year-old daughter's jeans out on the street in public? You've got a lot of nerve, you know. Where is, you know, an out of control 18-wheeler barreling down this street when you need it? Okay, I don't know. I'm just saying, because ridiculous. I mean, what is going on? Just take it back to the Middle East is where you can take that. But this is how they do. This is how they do. So it's not going great over in the UK, guys. It's really not. It's not looking good over there. And I fear that we are next. So I want to show you guys a portion of this video. I saw a tweet about this the other day, and then Matt Walsh did a really good segment on his show about it. It's a really good point to be made, and it's a really good demonstration of the left and their complete and utter backwards philosophies, their backwards ideologies that contradict themselves left and right. I mean, they're so twisted up like a pretzel that it's unbelievable. But this was a really good metaphor and a really good way of kind of showing the leftist perspective on immigration and how it just doesn't work at all whenever you really actually question them, and how their beliefs just end up colliding with one another, and it all falls apart in the end. So I want to show you guys a portion of this.
The Sentinelese on North Sentinel Island in the Indian Ocean are a fascinating case. Media reports often call them uncontacted, which isn't quite true. They've been contacted at various points in the past centuries, just not with positive results for the most part. I've even heard them referred to as the last uncontacted tribe on Earth, which is doubly false. There are uncontacted tribes, actually uncontacted, and they mostly all live in the Amazon jungle, some 9,000 miles away from North Sentinel Island. But contacted or not, the Sentinelese are a very primitive tribe. They are human relics of the Stone Age, running around mostly naked, using arrows and spears, living in lean-to mud huts. They are surviving as hunter-gatherers. Nobody knows exactly how many of them still survive on the island. Some reports say it may be hundreds. Others estimate that it could be dozens at most. Many modern Americans became aware of these people for the first time in 2018 when an American missionary named John Allen Chow tried to visit the island to tell the tribe about Jesus, as missionaries do. He walked up on the beach singing hymns, and he was, of course, unarmed. He had no violent or aggressive intentions at all. And the Sentinelese responded by shooting Chow full of arrows, and he died on the beach. Now, it's not clear what happened to the missionary's body after he was murdered. The Sentinelese have a history of not exactly treating their victims with respect. Years earlier, in 2006, 2 fishermen accidentally washed up on shore. They did not intend to invade the Sentinelese territory, but they did accidentally. And the fact that it was unintentional did not save them. They were hacked to death with axes, and their bodies were put on bamboo stakes and displayed like scarecrows facing out to sea. This has been the Sentinelese way of dealing with outsiders for centuries. In summary, the Sentinelese have claimed the right for themselves to massacre anyone who happens upon their shores, no matter their intentions, no matter why they're there, no matter if they're armed or unarmed, no matter who they are or what they want, they can all be killed. And I was thinking about this point a few days ago when I saw a viral tweet from a Twitter user who made an interesting point about the Sentinelese. He posted, quote, "One of the funniest things about modern leftism is that it simultaneously says that we must respectfully preserve North Sentinel Island and its culture in a prehistoric bubble, and that if they magically showed up here tomorrow, they'd be Americans just like me." Now, that's a funny thing, and it's a good point. The liberal view of immigration says that a man who just emerged from a Stone Age time capsule and set foot on American soil 10 seconds ago is every bit as American in every sense of the word as a man who's lived here his whole life and whose family has lived here since the Revolutionary War. There is no difference between those Americans, we are told. The only thing that makes a person an American is that they happen to be standing on the same plot of land. But as I was thinking about it, I think that the Sentinelese present an even more interesting challenge to liberal ideas about immigration. So consider this. Every liberal I've ever heard talk about the Sentinelese or similarly hostile primitive tribes will quickly and definitively say that these tribes are well within their moral rights to murder all intruders indiscriminately. And this is not just anecdotal. Go back and read any of the commentary about the American missionary in 2018 that was killed, and there was quite a lot of commentary about it. And nearly universally, the commentary arrived at this verdict, that Chow deserved to be killed for invading their territory. Yes, he was unarmed. Yes, he was just trying to talk to them. No, he didn't intend to harm them. He didn't intend to move in with them. He wasn't trying to claim citizenship among them. But he still deserved to die. He didn't belong there. That's their land. It's not his. And so he got killed. It was his fault. And that was the conclusion that almost everyone came to. This is very strange, though, because all of those same people would also say, just as definitively and with just as much confidence, that our country would be guilty of a heinous sin if it were to kill all illegal intruders on sight. Indeed, most of the Western defenders of Sentinelese autonomy would even say that we are committing an act of evil by guarding our borders at all. Certainly if we caught an illegal at the border and stabbed him to death and then displayed his body on a stake as a warning to future trespassers, nobody would defend it. All would agree that it is a horrific human rights violation. So how can the Sentinelese be justified in using literally any method, no matter how brutal, to defend its border, but we aren't justified in using any violent methods or perhaps even any non-violent methods to defend ours? How can a person hold these two thoughts in the same head simultaneously? Now, I've posed this question on social media and not gotten a coherent answer from anyone on the left. A few have tried to dodge it by saying that, well, our laws forbid us from killing illegal immigrants, but their laws don't forbid them from doing the same. So it's about the law. But this is a weak sidestep of the issue. I'm talking about what is moral, not just what is legal. It's a question of morality first, not legality. And besides, America could change its law to permit the butchering of intruders. Would liberals be okay with it then? If we just change the law, is that okay? Will we change it? Of course not. So you can't hide behind the law. What then is the answer? The only intelligible way to defend the Sentinelese and their right to axe stranded fishermen to death while denying America the right to kill illegal intruders under any circumstance at all, or even to defend its border using force, the only way to really do that is to say that the Sentinelese are in some way inferior, that they lack not only technological advancement, but moral and intellectual advancement. They are not as empathetic, not as morally sophisticated as the Western world, and therefore we can't hold them to the same standards. Well, the problem is that liberals cannot say that and will not say it because their ideology also requires them to believe in the universal equality of all people and all cultures. They have to also say that we're not better than the Sentinelese running around in loincloths or completely naked, chucking spears at people that wash up on shore. They have to say that our cultures are totally equal. We're not better at all. We're not smarter. We're not anything. We're not morally superior in any way ours because we say it isn't. White Western cultures. So they will take a culturally relativistic view of these cultures, but for our culture, they take an objective view. They say, like, no matter what our laws are or what we say is okay, here's what's right, and that's it. Which brings us back to the same question. Like, why? How do you reconcile this? Now, for me personally, this is not a difficult quandary. What I would say is that Sentinelese society is indeed inferior in many ways. These are primitive people who haven't yet invented the wheel, even while the developed world has robots rolling around on Mars. So their culture is quite backwards and barbaric. I think we can say that after you hack people to death and display their bodies like scarecrows. Like, what are you going to call that aside from barbaric? Even so, I would say that they have the moral right to use force to defend their borders, their homeland, and their cultural identity. And what I would say is that they have that moral right because all nations and all people have that right. Their moral right of self-defense and sovereignty and national defense is not any greater or any smaller than anyone else's, including our own. Now, does that mean that we would be morally justified in indiscriminately slaughtering anyone who happens to wander, even accidentally, near our border? Should we be killing illegal immigrants and hanging their bodies up as trophies like these tribal people do? Of course not, because that is evil and barbaric. It is wrong to behave in evil and barbaric ways. We're civilized people. We're not going to do that.
Some of us are.
But it's wrong when the Sentinelese do it too. Like, I'm willing to take the apparently controversial position that the Sentinelese did a bad thing when they shot an unarmed, peaceful missionary full of arrows. That wasn't.
And so, yeah, I really thought that was such an interesting point and so absolutely perfect for the moment that we're in right now with all of this immigration talk and all of this, gaslighting that people do on the left when it comes to immigration and how their points are just so completely invalid, and you should not listen to these people. You should not be bullied or made to feel bad by these people. And then there was another tweet that I saw that went along with this that said, it was basically somewhere along the lines of like, I like how they're pretending like this Rwandan kid, this kid of Rwandan parents, Rwandan immigrants who had their child in Britain. He's a Brit, he's a native, he's absolutely 100% British, but yet people try to accuse us, white people, Americans, of being on stolen land 400 years later. Make it make sense, because it just doesn't. So let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments down below. I would really appreciate it. I would love to hear y'all's opinions on everything. And like the video if you like it. And subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. I'm trying to get to, 2,000 subscribers at some point in my life. And then, after that, next step is 1 million. So we'll see. We'll take it one day at a time, as they say. But yeah, guys, y'all subscribe. And until next time, I will see y'all later. Bye.
Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and every police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims, oh, they're so good.